Hi, welcome to Sketchbook School, the show. Each week, we take one question about art, drawing, illustrated journaling, the creative life, and we ask an expert to help us answer it. Well, this week we're going to talk further about fountain pens, and specifically about their ink. What's the difference between all these different brands of ink? And which kind is best for drawing with a fountain pen? We'll ask Deborah Basel, our resident pen expert. She's a calligrapher who writes for the Bible of pen collecting, Pen World International. She's also a student at Sketchbook School. So Deborah, you are our resident fountain pen expert, and I want to ask you about waterproof inks, because often when we are watercoloring our journals, we want to be able to put wet paint over our line drawings. And of course, if we're using the wrong ink, everything will run and be a mess. So tell us a bit about what is the issue with, why can't I just buy any old ink and put it in my fountain pen? And secondly, what would you recommend I use if I do want something that's waterproof?
Well, the inks used to be waterproof, and they used to be made from iron gall. Now, the traditional documents that were written on with the iron gall ink over a couple centuries, the paper now looks like lace. So the iron gall came into disfavor, and people wanted inks that weren't going to disintegrate their fountain pen. So other inks that were a dye component and water based came into popularity, and most of them are not waterproof. Um, so you can still get some of the iron gall inks. Mont Blanc makes a blue black that's got the iron gall component, and it is waterproof. There's a pen company called Sailor. They make a carbon black ink, and I believe that Pilot also makes a carbon black ink. Any of the inks that are made by pen manufacturers are generally the best ones to get, because those pen manufacturers are very cognizant that they want you to buy their pens, and they don't want an ink that's going to not work in their pen or clog or create a problem. So there are other ink manufacturers that make what are called boutique inks, and they can be problematic. Um, I know a lot of people have some problems specifically with noodlers. I have it exclusively in the two Lammies we talked about, and I haven't had a minute's problem with it.
Because I've had problems with Noodler's ink, the bulletproof ink, and the problem that I've had is that it seems like it's dry, but then it isn't. So you'll have a line drawing, everything will look great. You'll start painting over it, and suddenly the ink will seem to like reactivate or something. And you can have this feeling that even if you leave it for hours, it still seems wet. I don't know. I know the bulletproof has some kind of special purpose, but I don't really. I gave up on it because of that mess that it created.
Have you tried the Noodler's Lexington Gray?
No, I never have. No.
Okay, it seems to be a little bit more stable than the black. Nathan Tardif is the person who makes these inks, and he likes to experiment. He's not a pen manufacturer, and every batch of ink can be a little bit different. He touts his inks as having a neutral pH, and some other inks can be more acidic or less acidic, and so his inks don't play well with others. Uh, Having said that, I haven't had a minute's problem in my Lamy. And the Lexington Gray, this is the bottle here. It seems to be very stable. It's a super saturated gray that reminds me a lot of a pencil line.
I see. So it's not pure. It's not a black. Obviously, it's gray.
It's a dark gray.
And I think the carbon ink is that like a species of ink, or is it a brand? Is that like a category of ink?
It's a category of ink, and it is a little bit difficult to get here in the United States. It doesn't usually go outside of Japan. If you search, you can find it. I did find two websites, one in the U.S. and one in the U.K., that have a lot of different types of waterproof inks.
And finally, let me ask you, why wouldn't I just take some old India ink that I have sitting around and put that into my fountain pen? What would happen if I did that? Why would that be a bad idea? Because that's waterproof ink.
It's waterproof ink, but the old drawing inks had a lot of lacquer in them. And the particle size in the solution is also larger. So if you put it in your fountain pen, it's going to clog. And if you let it sit in your fountain pen, it won't ever write again.
See. Okay, well, that's good advice. Excellent. Okay, well, thanks again, Deborah. You know everything there is to know about ink, it would seem. So thank you, and I will go out and kind of revive my Lamy safaris that I've kind of put aside because of my frustration with them, and I look forward to filling them with some fresh, dark gray ink. I guess it's not my favorite color, but it sounds like it'll be an interesting experiment. Thanks again for your help today.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye bye.